Hey there, MindSpark listeners. I am so delighted to have my latest guest, Ashaki Sorrell, talking about her Project Management Training Academy. Here you're going to learn about this awesome program where she talks about the 3 E's of her program. So take a listen and let me know what you think in the comments.
All right, Miss Ashaki Sorrell, I'm so excited to have you on the Real Life PMP podcast. So let me ask you the first question. Do you remember how we met?
Well, first and foremost, Crystal, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here. And thank you for all your contribution to the project management community. I just absolutely love it. So how did we meet? We actually met through a mutual LinkedIn connection. So Lori thought that it would be great if you and I got to know one another. And I absolutely agree with her. I'm so glad that she connected us.
Me too. I mean, that's the power of LinkedIn. For all those naysayers about LinkedIn, it's a pretty powerful networking and connection. And I'm just always so humbled by the people who I meet. So yes, that's my recollection as well, that Lori connected us. So that's awesome. So tell me, what is your 30-second elevator explanation as to what you do?
Oh gosh. So what do I do? In 30 seconds, I would say that I empower women to pivot into project management through education, experience, and exposure.
Oh, awesome. And you're a project manager yourself, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, I've worked in project management for about 10 years in the tech space.
Okay, awesome. So what's a fun fact about yourself that is not on your resume?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I am completely obsessed with karaoke. So anytime I can participate in karaoke, I will do that. And my signature song is Feels Like a Woman by Shania Twain. So that is not listed anywhere on my resume, but that is a fun fact about me.
Okay, when we meet up in person, we're going to a karaoke bar because that's my thing too. Mine is anything Prince. So any
Okay.
song. I have embarrassed my daughter at her middle school and it was Prince Beautiful Ones. Oh, and you know the end, right? Oh my
Yep.
gosh. She, like, her friends saw me and they ran off and then they came back with her and she was just like, oh my God. It was the
That's
best thing ever.
awesome.
We're definitely going to have to do karaoke. And if anyone is
Yes.
listening, you need to get with us. Sounds like we might need to add that on our LinkedIn profile at least.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The more the
Karaoke
merrier.
fanatic. Oh, I love that. See, I love asking that question because you just learn so many awesome things about people. And I would have never thought that. Well, I want to circle back to your elevator explanation. And specifically, I know that you founded a business skills training program called Project Management Training Academy. So give us a little bit more about that. And you can go beyond the 30 seconds because it's such a powerful program.
Yes. So, you mentioned something earlier, Crystal, that I wholeheartedly agree with. There is so much power in LinkedIn and not just in the platform itself, but connecting with individuals. So, I'll take you back to the end of 2021. So, one of the things that I do personally and professionally is I always reflect on my year. What went well, where can I improve? And then I set goals for myself. So what I did in December of 2021 was I actually created a digital vision board. So I created my vision board and it serves as my screensaver. And I had never done that before. And I actually saw a post about that on LinkedIn where someone said, create a vision board, but do it digitally and have it as your screensaver so it's always in front of you. So I thought, okay, this is awesome. This is a great idea. And what I did was I shared a screenshot of my vision board with my LinkedIn connections. And so one of the things that I had on there was to create community when it came to project management, specifically for women who want to pivot into project management. Like many project management professionals or any professionals that's been in their line of work for X number of years, I receive requests all the time from people that want to pivot into project management, primarily women. And they'll ask me, how do I get started? Can you look at my LinkedIn profile? These are some of the things that I've done. I really want to enter into project management. What words of wisdom do you have? So I thought myself answering that question multiple times a week, which I absolutely enjoy. But I thought there's probably a more efficient way for me to package my answers. And so I'm not just having to repeat myself over and over and over again. So I decided that I would put together a training, that I would do a 5-week training and I would teach women basic fundamentals about project management. And so that was going to be one of my goals. And so the more that I thought about that, Crystal, it seemed incomplete. And the reason why I said it seemed incomplete, because a lot of the women that came to me, they would reference, I've taken the Google project management course, or I've done this project management course, but no one will give me a chance. No one will hire me. And I know, as being a project manager, you have to have experience. Well, how do you get that experience? So, you kind of start going in this circle. I want to be a project manager. No one will give me experience to become a project manager. So with the program that I created, it's 2 parts. So the first part is 5 weeks of live education and training in project management principles. And every week we had a guest speaker come in that works in the field of project management. So those are the first 2 E's, the education and the exposure. You really need to understand project management. It is a science. There's definitely an art to it, but there's a science to it as well. And then having that exposure and listening to other people's stories of how they pivoted into project management is just inspiring. So those are the first 2 E's. And then the second part of the program is the actual experience. So I partnered with nonprofit organizations that were in need of a project manager. And so these organizations submitted to me actual projects that they needed to be managed and delivered for their organization. So when the women completed the 5 weeks of education and training, they were then assigned to a nonprofit, and then while they're on their assignment, they received mentoring from a certified project management professional, myself or either someone else. And shout out to LinkedIn, the other mentor, I met her on LinkedIn. So when she saw my post, she immediately responded and said, "How can I help?"
Oh, that is phenomenal. And just every time, because we've talked about your program, and every time I hear it, I'm like, oh my God, this is gold. Like it does not get old. It's so profound and just out of the box thinking that I don't see people doing it. It's like you mentioned the Google course, and we'll get to a question around that. It's like, get the training. But then exactly as you said, it's the lack of experience. And that is such a phenomenal program that you put together with incorporating the experience. Kudos to you. That is awesome.
Thank you.
So both you and I are in project management. We get probably equally, although it sounds like you, because I'm in that training space where people are ready to train, and people are, when they talk to you, it's like, I just want to get exposure and the experience. But I'm getting the questions similar to what you're getting, is that, hey, I want to transition into project management, whether they are teachers. I'm seeing a lot of that.
Yes.
Working in retail. What do you think is the reason? Have you had an opportunity, because I know you're busy, but have you had an opportunity to ask them, why project management? Why is this the career that you want to transition to? Have you heard the reasons why?
Yes, that's a great question. So one of the steps to enter into the program is to complete an application. That's actually one of the questions, is what interests you about project management? And it's funny that you say a lot of educators, because 2 of the women that were in cohort 1 are teachers. And so one of the things that I've heard continuously is that I absolutely love to organize things. I love to bring people together. I love to organize. This is how I'm naturally wired. And I heard that there is a profession in which I can be compensated for the things that I like to naturally do. So I think that's one thing. I think another answer that I have received is that it's a lucrative position. A lot of people have recognized that project management, I believe it's still in one of the top 10 professions that, really compensates very well, and that is in demand. And I think lastly, a lot of individuals, especially women, they are looking for that job security. With the pandemic, a lot of women suffered layoffs, whether their company closed or whether there was a downsize. And so a lot of women have told me, we've done the research and we have found that this is a profession that spans multiple industries. It's not just affiliated with tech. I'm a PM in tech, but there's PMs all around, right? And so they really want to be in a space where they have that level of security. So those are the main three reasons that I have heard. It naturally lends to my skills, the compensation, and then also the security of a role that spans multiple industries.
Okay, wow. That was such a fun conversation. And who knew if you put your vision board right there on your desktop, that's another great way to be have a reminder of your goals. I know I have my vision board right there on my wall, but there's something to be said when it's opened up as your screensaver and to be reminded that you're not far in reaching your goals. Speaking of reaching your goals, the three E's of that program that Ashaki manages: education, exposure, and most especially getting experience. Stay tuned for part two of our conversation about learning the language of being a project manager, and it's all about the experience. Thanks so much for listening.